What the fuck? There's a 5-star storm? Jesus Christ.
Some things never change.
Lost $100 in Vegas gambling over the span of about
4 minutes?
probably, yeah, about 4 minutes collectively.
Was it like an X-Men or Matrix machine or something?
No, this is a James Bond game.
Oh, there
James
you
Bond
go.
slot machine.
Oh.
They got him.
I thought you were going to
It
say
was the worst gambling experience I think I've ever had in my entire life. It's pretty wild.
At least it was
4
not the
minutes
Blake
on-
Shelton machine.
Welcome to Funhaus, everybody. This week I've got my friends Elise, James, and Adam.
Hello.
You're a friend this week.
I got a friend in me.
Friend upgrade.
Hey,
Friend
nice
with
job.
invite.
You're quick.
Did you guys like? Tell us what the target.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about Toy Story 4.
All right, now that he said that, did you guys like how it opens with "You Got a Friend in Me" classic "You Got a Friend in Me"
Yeah.
song,
Yeah.
and then later on a new Randy Newman? You're like, "Ooh, that voice is aged."
Oh, it's aged nearly 30 years.
I know, but you got a friend too. We're Kim Toys.
Before he sounded drunk, now he sounds like he's dying.
Aw.
He's getting older.
He's also, I know, I didn't think they were going to use him because he's been getting like super political recently because he's getting
Newman's
old. He doesn't
political?
care. He's like, big orange man going ruin
Yeah, I know,
the
but
government."
he's-
I was like,
Well, they got
he's
Tim
Randy.
Allen in there, so.
They got
I
Tim
don't know.
Allen to even things out.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I thought Toy Story 4 seemed just completely unnecessary.
like
before I
watching it?
saw it,
okay, yeah.
I
the
would-
fact that this movie existed just seemed
I would
pointless.
say that
right?
was a common take. I wouldn't say that's a hot take. I'd say
No, not
across
hot
from
at all.
anyone I talked with, that's kind of how we were all feeling.
I'm also- I
Terrible
guess-
take, Dan. That's not a good take.
I'm a bit of a cynic, so I guess that's also my cynicism showing through. That I was just ready to kind of be
Well,
bored with it, or over it, or uninterested by it. But I was actually completely blown away. Just the emotional resonance, the depth, and the huge heart that this movie had, especially at the end, just kind of had me surprised at the movies, which I think is rare now.
I feel like when they announced Toy Story 2, I was like, why? Why are they doing it? And then Toy Story 3, I was like, why are they doing this? Except every single time I'd go see it, and I was like, well, that's fantastic. Like, this is...
It gets better. Like,
It's
is there
just
another
weird to think that
Rocky.
at this point you can't trust it. You cannot trust.
your cynicism?
Yeah, it's just I can't help myself. Every single time a Toy Story comes out, I'm like, well, but why? It was so perfect.
Yeah.
The other one's so perfect. And they're like, yeah, but this one is too.
It's
They did
because
it again.
We grew up with Superman and A Quest for Peace.
That's true.
Where the rule was the more you make of these, the more garbage they're
Yeah.
going to get.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty true for most series and films. But
Yes.
it's 24 years, and I think you can at least argue that each one has been better than the one before it.
You could-
I
you
don't
could
know
argue
if
that.
I could argue that.
No?
No, I think I think a lot of them are all on the same caliber.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
believe
know
that.
that. I don't know that I necessarily think that they're better than. I think that there are things where they're better than. I think Thor Ragnarok is better than the other two
Oh, yeah.
Thors, but I wouldn't say something like that about Toy Story.
There were things this one did, I think, exceptionally better than 3. So, comparing it to the one that comes before it, I would say that this one excelled in humor by far better than any Toy Story movie preceding it. But I did think that in terms of just having emotional beats that were strong, I felt like it regurgitated and hit on a lot of the same emotions it kind of hit on in previous ones.
I'm sure the antagonist has kind of a similar motive than the last two movies.
Yeah, so
guess.
I felt like that was a little bit of a retread of ground in some ways, but the humor was so sharp and so wonderful. And I know we'll talk about Forky, I'm sure, in his whole own segment.
Bastard.
Because that was that was for me the same thing. I thought Frozen was a pretty movie. I fell asleep for a lot of it.
Okay.
But I was so proven wrong by Olaf. Judging from the trailers, I thought, God, this character is going to be insufferable. Actually thought he was pretty delightful.
Anyway,
Felt
Olaf
that-
or Forky?
Oh, both.
Oh, okay.
This is another exception of when I had the same response of seeing Forky in those trailers and thinking, good Lord, what have they done? What monster have they created? And
Because it
Forky-
looks like a monster.
Forky was a wonderful. He was just enough in terms of what he needed to provide, and he was great. And he flipped expectations on jokes, and I loved it.
I'll say this: what we're seeing right now is just all of them circling.
Oh, this Stupid
it was
teaser.
This was the
it was the
original
first
tra-
the
yeah.
first trailer for it is just all the characters and they're just like joyously circling each other, and then it shows Forky and you're like, what the fuck? And this is all I ever saw for this movie.
Same.
I
Me
never
too.
saw
Yeah, me
I never
too.
saw an actual trailer. It was always this, and I saw. Or no, there's one that was also the amusement park at night, and it had
with
two
Ducky and
characters.
Bunny?
Yeah, it had Ducky and Bunny just kind of bickering back and forth, but it's not a scene from the movie, and I was very grateful for that marketing because I had no idea the concept of it or what was going to happen or anything. Like I really enjoyed the marketing for this movie. I think
Is it because you missed the actual trailers? Like, did you do that on purpose?
I
or
mean, no,
you think,
I didn't avoid anything. The movies that I saw only had these trailers in it. But I feel like it must have been a conscious marketing decision because I do think that this is the story. This is Toy Story again. Like Elise was saying, it's the motivations for the antagonist are the same as they've almost always been
Similar.
since basically 3.
No, toys, I think.
I'd say it's
Two-
different in
no,
a very
two-
important reason.
2, 3, and 4.
I mean, like 1 didn't really have an
No.
antagonist other than
Sid.
Sid,
But
there was no
it's different,
motivation
yeah,
behind
yeah.
him. He was just a force.
I guess
Chaos.
the toy-based antagonist.
Yeah, 2 had a antagonist, 3 an antagonist. 4 didn't really have an antagonist. Once again, it was just a force that was already there.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't like that character had any bearing on the story. They ran into that character and they entered
Yeah.
that person's world. And even after that character got what they wanted, it was still it was a mutual thing. Like the thing that character wanted wasn't like, I'm gonna kill you. It was very much like Pirates of the Caribbean, where it's like, we want your blood, and they're like, you're gonna kill me? No, just a little bit of blood. Thanks. That's all we wanted. Just a little bit. Be on your way.
She was a great anti-villain in that respect because we didn't look at her like, oh, her intentions weren't like super malicious.
No,
really,
yeah.
It was very sympathetic.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like I think that why it feels the same across all the Toy Stories is because for all these toys, their base motivation and want is to be loved and played with.
Everyone
So,
can relate to those.
Yeah.
That's always going to be what I think in each of them it comes back to, except for that old prospector who just wanted to stay in his box.
Didn't the bear? Didn't the guy in the third one also say no one should be loved because I'm not?
Yeah.
And that
Well,
wasn't.
I think
Gabby didn't do that.
the difference
Yeah, she
is
didn't.
that I guess those two, the prospector and the bear,
Stinky Pete.
Yeah.
Stinky Pete and the bear, whose name is Dan,
Oh God, what's his name? Like Spuzz-
Lotso.
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 Lutzo. They both had situations where they were like toys and then were given up and it like corrupted them. It like,
Yeah.
turned them to evil.
She never experienced
never
it.
experienced it, but it still basically turned her into this desperate, wanting thing. All
Yeah.
toys are just in a
They're pretty
perpetual
needy,
state
right?
of suffering.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing here in this movie, dark. The fact this was meant to be Woody's. So weird to think of this way. It's a fucking kids movie, but they're like, this is meant to close Woody's story.
Yeah.
But in the beginning of this movie, he's sort of this. He is sort of a cowboy in the sense he's a cowboy at a time.
Yeah.
Where he has nothing. He's sort of left behind, and he has like nothing to live for.
Well, he's like a helicopter parent almost. He's
Kinda.
obnoxiously controlling of a situation that he's
Right.
no longer in control of
Because
or in
he's
charge of.
Yeah, he needs something, and it really actually came through in this movie in a way I wasn't really anticipating.
Well,
that it'd be like this is what retirement looks like.
Yeah.
Which is
And
really sad.
I think actually like his character being that way, you see the definite growth in him between the first and the fourth movie because when Buzz is introduced, he doesn't want another toy having the spotlight.
he's
Like
super
he wants
jelly.
to be number one. But when Forky comes in, his priority is that little girl is happy, and it doesn't have to be with Woody.
Yeah.
It's with that other toy, and I really liked that. I thought
But there-
that was
there
like
are,
exceptional.
There are some moments though where you see some of Woody's like ill intentions coming through, where he's in the movie Forky's constantly trying to kill himself. He thinks he's trash.
It was great.
And then there's the part where he gets up there and then Bonnie, the little girl, holds on to Woody, and you can tell he's like, this is. But also like a weird sexual thing. No, I'm just kidding.
I think it's still internal
I think-
nature though.
I mean-
it's like he can't help that he still is a toy. and, you
Well,
know.
Woody across the series is a pretty great imperfect character, and I think considering how many times this story has been told and they have to reset that, like a lot of times it's like, oh, a character's gone through growth, but we need a sequel, so they have to basically
Revert.
Yeah, they have to revert and abandon that growth. They've done a good job examining his different proclivities. Like I think Woody now is the most fully fleshed out version of himself he could be, but it does seem naive to think that like, oh well, the events of the first movie are just going to completely cure him of all of the imperfections that are built into him. It makes him seem very human in a lot of ways.
He's a very real character,
and it's also really good for the progression of a multi-film story where you don't feel like now we're going back again, and you can always see everything through the lens of Woody. So
it's a movie we didn't need. No one asked for it, and it ended up being one of the best.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been a different Pixar sequel, like a Cars or an Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
That just seemed pointless.
Like to James's point too, is like I don't even want to compare the movies to each other because I think they cohesively tell a really good story onto themselves. Like, sorry, microphone, but like I don't know. It's weird. Like they enrich each other, which they shouldn't. They shouldn't be this good. And I don't know.
I was going to say, Woody grows so much from the beginning to the end of this movie. And you said he's been doing it for 4 movies, but to have so many character moments, it's almost masterful,
great.
I think. Oh, yeah. Those guys are just violent.
They're they also like, they could have been terrible characters.
They could have, but it was fresh. Like
it was
you're
fresh
talking about
comedy.
the Key and Peele.
Yeah, it seemed
Bunny
slightly out of place, but
Bunny
it
and
was,
Duck, I think.
Yeah,
Bunny and
Ducky.
Yeah.
And Bunny.
Also, we talked about this all last week, but I was worried about the Keanu Reeves bit. And
His Duke Kaboom.
Duke Kaboom.
after the movie, I told Jess, I was like, wow, it was really, Keanu did such a good job. And she was like, he was in that movie? I didn't catch that. And I was like, oh, that means he did a great job.
Oh, she didn't catch
Yeah.
it? Well, that's just...
Or she's just, she has Keanu blindness.
I was going to say her being her. It's pretty obviously Keanu Reeves.
It took me
But
a while.
again, like all good Keanu Reeves movies, it is well cast. He's the right person to be Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I thought
He's not emotionally deep. He's got a note.
I thought it was really cute because I feel like a lot, Canadians obviously are very proud of the time Keanu Reeves spent in his life there, but I feel like Americans, so
French Canadian.
it was great. And I love his little like ticks when he moves, and it kind of reminded me of Fix It Felix from Wreck-It Ralph, when how he's always like moving when he's talking or
posing.
posing.
Yeah.
Like I was like, it's really funny.
I was reading up on the trivia on it and all the other, which is a giant trash heap because the first 4 things are great. Then it's about 55 people repeating themselves.
IMDb Trivia?
Yeah. So
oh my God, there were like 400 entries. I gave up.
I scrolled to the bottom just to get to the spoiler stuff. I sent James and Elise one.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Which I don't have on
Which
me,
one?
I can tell you what it was.
I
read it like 3 times.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, it was basically like people often wonder what happened to Andy's dad.
Oh,
Toy Story
yeah.
4 answers that question when the guy comes to get Bo Peep, and it's clear that either he lives away from them or they've been divorced, because that's why he came to get his Bo Peep. Except in the movie, it's explained that he's a guy who came to buy it because it was for sale online.
I think it also it's like we often wonder about Andy's deadbeat dad, and there's like 2 question marks. Like, man, IMDb will just take anything.
They will.
But they were saying that Duke Kaboom is based on an Evel Knievel toy. Obviously, that was, but it was. I guess it was Keanu Reeves pitched the idea of him being like.
Yeah,
constantly, because he
posing.
kept gesturing during the recording session. And he's like, "Can we would you be able to animate that?" And I guess they took
It's
that as a
perfect.
note. Yeah,
I do feel like that I love the idea of an actor walking into a VO booth and going, I have some ideas about the animation, and the whole animation team has to go, yeah, that's a great idea that we hadn't already concepted out and built the entire fucking engine to do already, because that's the toy that we came up with that you're voicing right now.
in the same IMDb trivia, they did say, what's his name? Not Tom Hanks, the other one.
Tim
Tim
Allen.
Allen. Yeah, Tim Allen was like, "Hey guys, I have some ideas," and he was like, "Unfortunately, they didn't use any of them." I was like, "Gee, I wonder why."
It was not as buzz heavy as other movies.
Although it
Very
was
Buzz Light.
very Buzz Light, but I thought it was great. What they did with him was it did have its own beginning, middle, and end for his own little short story, And
Yeah.
he needed to move to the side
Yeah.
for Buzz and for Bo, who we haven't talked about.
I also think that in terms of like repeating arcs that this franchise kind of does, they always do something with Buzz every movie where they make him, because he's not a superhero, but he kind of can do anything he
Jumps
wants to.
around
So
and somersaults.
they have to handicap him in some way. And like in the first movie, he doesn't know that he is a toy. And in the second movie, what they do, he's like completely infatuated with his toy universe. And then in the third movie, he speaks Spanish.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
forgets himself. Like they always have to do something. And this is the first movie where Buzz just gets to be Buzz the whole time.
Yeah.
And I know it's not as much as maybe some other movies, but I was like, oh, I'm glad that they didn't handicap Buzz in some way.
He and
Listen to your inner voice, Buzz.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
a good bit.
Such a good.
that was, I guess that was the thing, is just listen to your
It's one
heart.
of those,
Yeah.
Also one of those bits where you do it 1 or 2, 3 times. It's like, okay, but they did it like 10 times, and it was still funny.
Yeah.
He and Bo Peep have their little moment together.
Bringing back Bo
their little
Peep,
movie,
dude,
movie
that in
buddies
general was
moment.
That beginning when she like accepted that her time was over with
Yeah.
the kid was so good. And the RC car caught in the rain.
Oh.
How emotional can a little RC car struggling against
Oh,
water
yeah.
be?
I'm trying to win out.
It's so good.
Remember the rocket ship?
I saved you!
But there was a weird part where, because obviously I'm an adult and I go to my sycophant ways, but there's the part
If
where
I can
he's
just say,
like,
it sounds like we're talking about a lot of specifics.
Oh.
So it feels
we
like,
can be in spoilers now.
yeah,
Yeah.
right?
So,
yeah. If you're
warning
watching,
people, we might start spoiling.
Yeah. You
wanna do the fake
the
ad
end of
read?
this.
we're too excited.
No, fuck it.
All right.
But there's no ad, no sponsor this week.
Beds are the sponsor, all
Yeah.
of them.
Make sure to
Sleep
buy
in
a
a
bed.
bed. Just important.
Whatever you do, be in a bed.
Sorry, Adam.
All right. Use that code for 50% off bed.
You're gonna have to start mailing people
Oh, no,
something
but
you
yeah.
call a bed.
Well, she does the thing where she's like, cowboy, you can get in this box and run away from your child friend. And he's like, I could be with a woman. And then he goes, Mommy, I miss Woody. And he goes, my little boy.
Did she say get in this box?
She's like, yeah, like get in my box. And he was like, interesting.
Exact
Yeah.
verbatim.
That's
Yeah.
what
Yep.
happened, yeah.
And then he goes, no, I love a child. She went, okay, weirdo. He wrote on my foot. But
Dude,
yeah.
Tom Hanks, he does so much with that voice.
Yeah.
And one of those guys that seems to have made it through his career without a scandal yet. Like, we were talking about Keanu last week.
He owns a lot
he's
of
a real,
typewriters.
real stand-up guy.
Yeah, he's like pervy into typewriters.
he also made Colin Hanks. Thoughts?
Oh yeah,
Uh-oh.
and Chet Hayes, his
Chet
other
Hayes.
son.
Oh, God.
I guess Chet Hayes is the blemish on his
I don't know.
legacy.
I'm not sure how I
man.
feel about him.
And he's
Just
friends.
indulging
And
his
he's friends
children.
with Tim Allen.
yeah,
You know?
I wouldn't
Or
really
are they
want to be seen
pretending?
around.
Tim Allen
they're
said that.
actors.
Tim Allen said that Tom Hanks is a close friend of his.
Okay.
I read that recently.
Yeah, but does Tom Hanks say
I did, he
Tim
did-
Allen's a close
It's like
friend?
how I say that I'm like a sister to you, but I never say you're like a brother to me. Think about it.
I didn't like how homicidal the toys were in this movie. that
The unicorn that really wants dad to get
Well,
arrested.
Guys, the dummies were fantastic.
The Bensons?
Is that what you were going to talk
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
no, the dummies are frightening. No, I was
Oh.
talking about when the toys are. They took a step too far. I felt like the toys in this one, where it used to be, "Mom's here, play dead." Now they're like physically,
Influencing.
they're like moving cars and
Oh, yeah, they
cutting
don't
the
care.
brakes and be like, "We gotta save Woody, cut the fucking brakes." And like they're just talking to the people now. Where I was like, it obviously it's a kids movie, so who cares? But I was like, the rules have changed, guys. Pretty soon, toys and humans will coexist.
When she's when Kristen
Toy Story
Shell's
5.
doing the like GPS, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Go left."
well, there's the part
I
too
hope you
where-
go to jail. When they
Well-
want the dad to go to jail.
Well, like-
that was such a good gag.
yeah.
but still, it's like
And had an
Okay.
end.
It is.
Had its
it
own
is-
punch at the end.
It is a like lore universe change of rules
A little
bit, but
Yeah.
I think over the course of 4 movies, where I think I was okay with us getting to this point. Also, I don't care much for this family, and I do hope the father goes to jail.
I'm not big on Bonnie, to tell you the truth.
I'm okay with Bonnie.
I mean, I didn't
She's
care about
okay.
Andy, so it doesn't really matter. What made Andy special?
Well, I'll tell you this much. Well, I guess it's not a criticism of the movie. It's just something I noticed is that I think maybe it's for me, but I would also say, just based on the history of films, that there is a certain universal pace at which you can develop emotional resonance. And they hit it. Toy Story 3, they hit it. on the nose. It's a bullseye. It's like the third movie. You've had enough time to feel like these characters are a part of your life and a part of your family, and their story is your story. That when Andy leaves at the end of Toy Story 3, and the little girl makes Buzz wave, and then Andy goes, like, my toy, I'm saying goodbye to my toy.
Yeah.
Like, that, did you get goosebumps?
I got goosebumps just thinking
Yeah. That is like the pinnacle. That's the pinnacle moment of emotional payoff I think you can get. When you do another movie afterwards, and then it has emotional payoff at the end, I wasn't there yet, again.
Really?
Yeah, it felt like
man.
it felt like if you go into the ocean and there's ever those two waves, and the first big wave hits you, and then a second wave just kind of comes and just like pushes you a little bit more. But it's never the big wave. I felt like you need a certain amount of time to build up to that payoff, and I wonder if the magic number is 3. I wonder if, like, in terms of like trilogies and stuff, like 3 is the right number of movies to hit something.
So you need that much time to be invested to have an emotional payoff?
Just to build something to really pay it off that big. I think 3 is the right amount of time.
I think this movie went more personal with Woody than the third one. Like, the third one was kind of about a lot of them and moving on or growing up or whatever. But this was specifically Woody's character's time to figure out what his purpose in life is, and to maybe move on from that.
I think that was what 3 was about, though, too. 3 was he was expecting to go to college. He was like, I mean so much to this kid, I'm just going to ride it all the way out.
This emotionally stunted child.
And ultimately, he and Andy had to make a decision that, no, we should go our separate ways. And so I still think, I think all of the movies are Woody's story. So I do think that 3 is also Woody's story. And that payoff is the culmination of those 3 movies, and his relationship with Andy is huge. For him saying goodbye to the other toys, I'm like, oh, well, that's big too, but he already dealt with what felt like the most massive emotional experience he could in the last movie. So just for me, him saying goodbye to the other toys at the end of 4 wasn't as big an emotional moment for me as it was in 3, him saying goodbye to Andy.
It's just a different big actualization for him, I think.
Yeah, I guess it's... I've got this playlist fucked up.
And for me, because I felt like they were retreading some of the emotional beats of goodbyes, I didn't feel... Like, I didn't get... I got pretty weepy at the end of Toy Story 3, but for this I was like, oh, that's really beautiful. But it didn't like resonate as hard with me. And also there was some story stuff that I'm like, okay, well, Bo Peep it's pretty predictable that she's not going to go back with the other toys because like she's
found her own world.
Yeah, Pixar's not going to take a woman that's like found her own individuality and strength and go
bring her down to our level.
Bring her back with the toys. And then with Woody, I was like, I just can't see him saying goodbye to Bo again. So when he went with her, I was like, okay.
You see it coming.
Yeah, you see it all coming.
They set it up. They're like, look at this beautiful world of lost toys. It's so amazing, isn't it, Woody?
And then
you don't have to define yourself by a kid's room.
With the catty Chathy, Gabby, I was also like, it seems a little too perfect that she would go to this child and then immediately everything would be fine. So when the little girl cast her aside, I was like, yeah, that's a perfect.
It was a bummer.
It's a little sad. It was predictable. That doesn't mean bad.
No,
by any means.
It just means I'm like when they said I didn't see the Andy thing at the end of Toy Story. I didn't see giving away.
When they were fucking sitting in the incinerator in 3, I was like, this is how Toy Story 3 is gonna end. Like watching it, I was like, are you shitting me? They're all gonna die, holding hands together as they go in. I was like, I believed it. But I think you could telegraph more of this film, which again is not.
It's not
necessarily
bad.
It's not a problem. It's just I just think it's something about you've seen enough by this point that you can kind of see where everything is going.
I enjoyed that kind of the dive into, so like Woody, your purpose was to make children happy or to make Andy happy or Bonnie or whoever it is, and like now that's kind of over, how do you come to grips with what your purpose in life is? Like, how do you realize something in your own life that's not about making someone else happy?
I guess it's comparable to like a parent raising a child, that child going off into the world as an adult, and now what does that parent find with themselves?
He kind of had a Mrs. Doubtfire moment where he's like, I'm gonna help this child but I'm going to do it secretly so no one knows. It might piss some people off, but my intentions are good. But he also has a Freudian slip where he calls Bonnie Andy.
And he did it a couple times.
And
It
you're
was
like,
really good.
ooh, that'd be.
He's got some issues.
I mean, we've all been there during coitus. But
Yeah.
The animation, you can see it right here. The change in animation quality from previous iterations to what they're doing now.
I mean, just
Yeah,
is
but-
fucking absurd.
But
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite things
Absolutely.
about it is that what they changed the most seems to be lighting and
texture.
texture.
You can just the difference between Woody's face and her face.
Yeah.
It's pretty astounding because it
nuts.
doesn't feel. There are probably other movies that will feel way more dated than Toy Story because they're like, oh, we have this new technology. Let's go buck wild and go crazy
Sure.
for this sequel to Minions or whatever. You know,
did
like
you know we can mocap anything? It will look good forever. And you go, ugh.
yeah. I think
Monsters.
that they're really good at picking and choosing in Toy Story where they're going to advance things, like kind of in the faces of the children and like, you know, the expressions, and then especially the lighting is like a major thing that I think they've improved.
Well, the whole antique
Subsurface.
shop too. Just seeing like dust on objects and stuff like that, where it's like they to just I guess to speak of to the testament of Toy Story. Toy Story 1 and 2, I guess now look dated,
Oh, they do.
but the animation's so good, the story's so good that it doesn't matter. I don't know. I think you forgive it. It's
Oh, absolutely.
Well, in the first
yeah,
Toy
I
Story, that was the first wholly computer-generated film, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
changed the way animation is.
yeah, and then
like,
since then a lot of garbage has come out. Ants and
How dare you?
that's the celebrities.
Ask me what
Look
I'd
like
rather
ants.
watch between Bugs Life and Ants right now.
Which would you rather
Ants.
watch?
Oh, look at it.
no.
Think of a
Every
movie
time.
like
No, Bugs Life is way
Monster
better.
House.
Every
It looks
time.
like garbage.
Oh, well, Monster House. So there's certain things too, all the phases of computer animation, where this was like computer animation but animated by hand, where they keyframed in things. Monster House was when they were experimenting with motion capture, and
Looks weird.
more than how terrible it looks is the animation. The movement of the characters is terrible. I hate mocap so much. Like you can use it as a reference, like when they filmed the Alice in Wonderland girl doing the whole movie and then drew on top of her.
Yeah.
But there is if you just go, well, there we go. That's how it looks when someone walks. It is going to be terrible.
Well, nothing in Toy Story felt like and any of them has ever felt like a crutch.
No, yeah.
It's never been like people are gonna love the way this looks no matter what. The story's gonna be so-so, but it was like no, everything they do is in service to the story or the characters or anything like that. So I think that's one of those things where I think it will stand the test of time, as opposed to Monster House, which we were all rooting for.
Monster House is a great movie, like in everything but the visual execution. Like the story is really good, but God, it's really hard to watch. It's so ugly.
I just also it was hard for me because the internet's ruined everything for me. But I remember a guy wrote this idea down a while ago. He goes, "I like to imagine that I'm Andy, and then I'm older, and then I jerked off onto Jessie, and then the other toys have to sit there and leave her because if they move, I'll know."
What?
I think
Did you send me that, or I saw that somewhere?
Yeah, he goes in his room, jerks off on Jessie, and then she's covered in this dude's bum, and she has to lay there
Oh, God.
while all the toys look at her, unable to help because if
Yeah.
they move her, when he comes back, he'll know that she moved.
Jesus.
So,
Yeah, so that's basically what this movie is about.
Josh Cooley, director, first-time director. This is his debut film, and I think that's pretty fucking crazy.
Did Lasseter direct it as well? Did he?
he started it.
He was one of the
Yeah.
8
And something
credited
happened.
writers.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, I know Rashida
8
Jones
writers.
and her writing
Yeah.
partner started it, and then they
Left.
scrapped a lot of what they did.
I think they said it was creative hugs
Yeah.
that they left on, or too much personal space, or lack thereof. I forget.
Forky being a sounding board for everyone was so great. Sorry, Dan, I don't underrate.
no.
I love
you
Forky
talk about
more than I
Forky.
should
You
have.
talked about your love for Forky. Tell us about why you love Forky so much. Because
As I mentioned-
I honestly, sorry.
Oh, no, go
I
ahead.
just asked you.
like a therapy
I found him
session.
kind of obnoxious because he
Really?
caused so much. At the end, I loved him.
Yeah.
But he caused so much trouble for Woody that I was ready for them to let him fly out the window. It's like,
Woody-
be gone with Forky.
Woody created
You're a
that.
sport.
Woody created the problem. Woody was the
Yeah.
problem throughout the movie.
I
Yeah.
like Woody though.
No, you can like Woody, but every problem in the movie was because of Woody. Like Forky solved all the problems by killing himself over and over and over.
Yeah.
And it's a little girl, so she would have got over it
Yeah.
because she's going to find a Polly Pocket or something and move on with her life, or like get a period and like changes everything.
She's like 4. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No.
I have to
Time
ask you a
flies.
question.
Sorry.
Tell us why you love Sporky.
As I said, Forky should
Forky.
have been insufferable. I guess maybe to some obnoxious. I think I was just so surprised by how funny they actually wrote him, and him being a sounding board to Woody when they're having that walk to the RV park,
good.
and Forky, Woody is unloading on Forky his whole history with these toys and Buzz. Like, that was just a great moment.
Once again, causes problems for him.
Forky being the then comic relief to Gabby Gabby, and him giving Gabby Gabby the 411 on the other toys and everything. Like, I just thought he was just such a great device to have in the film.
Well, also just Tony Hale.
Tony Hale was great. I
Nails
thought it was
that
John
delivery.
Mulaney at first, and then I'm like, no, it's Tony Hale.
Yeah.
When they were walking back from the RV is when I could hear the Tony Hale
Yeah.
voice, which he's been killing it post Arrested Development. I know he's been doing other stuff for years, but like also Veep, he's amazing on. He's been doing a lot of voice acting, and like he did a Joker voice a while ago on Batman Ninja,
Yeah.
which he did a great Joker. I don't know. And then he was on a series on Unfortunate Events. He was great on that. Like,
Yeah.
good on him just not being typecast as Buster
Yeah.
Bluth for the rest of his life. So.
Also, putting to juxtapose to these toys that all they desperately want is to be loved, and Forky,
Just
who's
wants
been
trash.
created and someone wants to love him more than anything, he just wants trash. Like, I saw someone online make an analogy that Forky is someone who's constantly putting themselves in the trash, only to have the other people around them pull them out. And I was like, man, that's something that I feel like a lot of people can relate to.
Well, I
You're
just,
not disposable.
I just like when
Yeah.
they're talking and then Forky goes, he understands. He goes,
Yeah.
I'm her trash.
Yeah. And Forky's trash wife at the end,
Yeah.
like, it was just, there was no character that I really felt like was annoying in this, you know?
No, yeah.
I thought they were all great.
Even all this posing stuff, it was actually pretty clever.
No, yeah. He's great.
Yeah, I thought Key and Peele, I felt almost like they were typecast at some point because
Yeah.
it was just they're like, we like you as Key and Peele, do Key and Peele stuff, and I was like, they can do more than that. Like, no, argue with each other,
Yeah.
dance, do my thing, but
Yeah.
it ended up working, and they were
Too
fine.
funny though. The problem is it's still too
Yeah,
funny.
they were really
Yeah.
cute.
Like,
No, they worked out.
You can tell they went into that room with a few lines and then just did whatever they wanted to do.
I thought Bo is a great character. They put her in this situation where she was cast out. She was kind of at her lowest, but they didn't make her a victim or make her this character that was like self-pitying.
It wasn't a damsel in
I
distress.
didn't
No.
care for her agenda.
when she said they should call it Women's Story.
Yeah,
I
I looked into the camera and winked.
she was well written, in my opinion.
She was fine. I like that.
Adam tolerated her.
Well, no. On one hand, it was like, okay, it is the paradigm shift, which it's fine. It's like a strong female character for young girls to look up to. But it was never. She's like, because of my vagina, I'm strong. She represented just. I mean, it could have been male, female. Didn't really matter. It just worked for her character that it was like she represented the sort of like the independent side of, like, I guess, retirement or sort
She
of.
represented millennials.
She doesn't define herself by a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she had a broken arm and all this other.
And it was just a big laugh. She was Furiosa, basically.
Yeah.
Can we talk about G.I. Joe who never gets high-fived?
Combat
wow.
Carl.
That was super
Poor
funny.
Carl Weathers.
I think that was the first part of the movie where like I laughed out loud, and I was like, that was. I guess also because
There's a lot of laugh out loud moments in the movie.
Yeah, but
which
just-
I think is unlike Pixar.
yeah, the other thing they did in this movie, just kind of talking about the animation too, is like they made the animation funny. There's not a lot of
yeah.
movies where animation is funny. And I think toys just lend themselves to it because they're sort of stop motion in that way. But Combat Carl, one of his third alter ego, the Snow version, who keeps getting dissed on his high fives, but like it's sort of if you don't notice it, it's not funny.
Yeah.
I was like, that's just good animation where people in the background are like, probably doesn't say in the script, and then third Combat Carl doesn't get high fived. But
Yeah, that was super funny.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was freaking just well done.
Yeah,
overall.
all the just like timing of the animation was just so right for comedy. Like, and those dummies, were fantastically funny.
Yeah. Did it throw you at all when they were called Benson?
I just thought it was cute.
Okay. It took me a second.
The IMDb trivia states, perhaps the ventriloquist dummies don't talk because they're ventriloquist dolls and people need them to talk. And then you reply, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty much implied.
Look at that cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a thing I remember watching the making of, I think it was Finding Nemo, and they were talking about, they were getting to a point where some of their stuff was getting a little too realistic. And they had a shot of a whale. And they had a reference shot of it, and you couldn't tell the difference. Mm-hmm. And this is Finding Nemo, 2001, 2002, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, like, they've gone out of their way to make stuff look more cartoony. Mm-hmm. And so, like, when you see stuff like that where it's a cat, they could have just made it look like a real cat, but they go out of their way to make it look like a cartoon cat. It's so weird.
Is that what happened with Shark Tale?
Shark Tale was too real.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Is that Will Smith's face?
Martin Scorsese.
Why are his lips so big?
I don't get what
Did no one get in trouble for that?
I thought this was very relatable.
Oh, yeah.
When the kid gets the toy and it sucks, and he throws it away immediately.
I loved how he jumped over a hockey toy.
Yeah.
Like, because like I don't know, you guys all had those, right?
Well, they
every
also
Canadian kid is
it
like
was his
issued
favorite
one.
Boxing Day present. Like, it's all Canada.
What was the boy's name again?
It was
Valjean?
was it
Réjean.
Like
Réjean.
Reagan, I guess.
When his face appears as he's doing that jump, it was so good.
Another laugh out loud moment.
Yeah.
Once again, though, the toys, they stepped over a line, and it got a little weird when they were like, now the cops are getting involved, like, and they're locking themselves out of the car. I'm like, what if the toys are like, let's play a prank on the family, and there's wolves outside, and like, Forky's locking the door.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That ties a little. So one of my major dislikes of this movie is there was a lot of humans. There was a lot of people in this movie, and I think that detracts a lot from the Toy Story. I don't know. I also think they're ugly looking, like too rubbery and kind of
like
clay
the way the
looking.
humans are
Yeah.
designed.
Yeah.
I don't like the way they look.
mean,
I'm
I
not
The
think
mom's breasts were too small.
I think compared
Where's
to
my Tifa?
I think compared to how some other design aspects for humans go, I was okay with it. They're like halfway to Ratatouille. Like they're not full
They're not Bratz
stylistic,
dolls,
but they're like halfway to it to make the toys always seem more interesting.
I was just having a hard time trying to figure out how old the dad was. I was like, you 40, you 55, what are you? I'm trying to figure out, because you have a 3-year-old child or whatever, 5.
It's weird now. I don't think I have any real dislikes for this movie, but it's weird now that we're addressing the retirement of characters in movies that we watched when we were children.
Was it 95?
Because like again,
Yeah, I was
that's
in
this
4th
Toy Story.
grade.
But don't forget, Cars 3 came out years ago, and Cars 3 is Lightning McQueen. He's over the hill.
Wait, there's a third Cars?
Yeah.
I thought they stopped after 2.
No, they did 3. And
Holy
it's
shit.
basically it's great because it's basically like the plot of a, Michael Douglas
That's Rocky, all right?
No, I mean kind of. Yeah, it's like Rocky 5,
Yeah.
but more like I think it's more like one of those like bucket lists, like Jack Nicholson and
Morgan
Freeman are going out for one last hurrah or whatever, or Wild Hogs. It's basically the equivalent of Wild Hogs, but with Lightning McQueen. And now we're doing the post-retirement, what to do with his few remaining years, Woody. And I'm like, what the fuck? How old are we?
Yeah.
We're never going to retire. We don't get to retire. This
No.
generation doesn't get to retire.
Well,
How come
this-
Woody gets to?
My only thought is this movie did well. It's going to continue doing well. And after 3, everyone was like, that was it. We didn't think we needed 3, and it was done. And they said, here's a 4th one. We said, we don't need it. And they made it and said, that was really
great.
good. That is such a good finale, or just a finale to the whole thing. Is someone at Pixar going to go, what about Buzz's story?
Well, here.
what about T-Rex?
Pixar did come out before all that happened and said we are going to focus on closing out some of these properties that we have, and that's why we've been getting Incredibles 2, Toy Story, Cars 3. We've been getting Finding Dory, a sequel to like every single thing. But they have now said before this came out that okay, they're going to take a break from sequels. They're going to do original stuff. Now
That's
the problem
Pixar
is,
at their best too.
but the problem
Coming
is
up with
when
new
those
stuff.
don't make $1 billion. They
Yeah.
only make $500 million.
Well, I think it was Lasseter that said they'll only make sequels if it's a good script or good idea.
And if I
That's
can
a nice
touch
thing to
someone
say.
while I
I mean,
do it.
yeah, and if they're not under the thumb of some company that's saying we need 400% profits,
I do think that was Pixar at their best when they made new ideas. This is a great movie. Some of the Toy Story movies are great movies, but the constant Cars, second Incredibles, it just seems against what I really loved about Pixar, which was coming up with new ideas. It's kind of what reinvigorated Disney, period, when they acquired this company. Like, Toy Story characters are canon characters for Disney now. They're the only new ones in a generation.
Well, Elise and I were talking about this. We live in the era of brands, and all that matters is a brand. It doesn't matter anything else. We were in Vegas, and you know what all the slot machines are? Brands.
Yeah.
The Walking Dead slot machine. Why would I ever?
The Blake Shelton slot.
Blake Shelton slot machine.
Is that a brand?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Big Bang Theory slot machine.
Sure.
Like nothing matters except for the brand, because it's cheaper than figuring out how to advertise something new. So I don't know. I hope that phase doesn't last forever.
Right.
Pixar did announce their next original movie, Soul.
They did.
Well, they had the trailer for the other one, Onward, which
Yeah.
looked interesting, which
Yeah.
is...
Everyone looked really ugly in
they're-
that, though.
Yeah, and it did that thing, which I hate, which is they're like, it's a fantasy story, but what if electricity was invented? I'm like, don't do it. Yeah.
I've seen Bright. I know what it's like. Okay.
But I mean, granted, I've learned to just not judge a book by its cover, because I remember being really excited for Incredibles 2, and then I saw it and it was hot garbage.
Oh yeah, at the end when he remembers the sheep's names.
Yeah.
You
Well,
okay,
it took
Dan?
him
Just so
fucking
many
long
good
enough.
Woody
It
moments.
took him fucking long enough, though.
So
But
what's
that's
the new-
growth.
Telling you, Woody has dementia. That's what this whole movie is
I think
actually
so.
about.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. What's the new one? Soul?
Soul. Is
Like
this
about
announced.
Korea?
I don't know. I only saw the
Yeah, well-
title graphic they posted. I didn't look into it at all.
They didn't
Spelled
release
soul?
anything else,
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
believe. But it's weird because it comes out only a couple months after Onward. So
Okay.
like it's not a yearly release that I saw.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll continue going to see them. There's a ton of Pixar movies at this point,
is this
and
it?
some that I am interested in, and some that I am less interested in. Like I haven't seen Inside Out more than once.
Yeah.
True.
I haven't seen. Yeah, I've missed some of the more recent.
I didn't
Pixar
watch
movies.
Good Dinosaur.
That's-
Did anybody?
Good Dinosaur is not
I watched
good.
it.
It is bad.
I started
bad.
Cars.
Actively bad.
It's just not good. There's like you're like, why is this? It's really ugly. Number one, and it's just not fun. There's a dad that dies at the beginning. And you're like, that's it.
Up's good. Did you catch the Up reference in this movie? Toy Story 4?
There's
no.
balloons or something. I don't know.
There's a
What
ton
is
of
it?
shit hidden in the background.
Jess
right?
told me because it went over my head, but she's like, remember
yeah.
when Bo Peep gives him the
bottle cap.
The bottle cap? It's the same one from Up. And I was like, I saw that movie
But I
once, I
think
cried, and I
there's-
moved on.
Isn't there a toy in the antique store too, like an
Oh,
Up toy?
Probably. There was everything. Reading
Yeah.
Imdb Trivia, they're like, Obi-Wan's in the background too.
Oh.
Also, there's a bear from The Shining. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Maybe? Or now you're just seeing what you want to see. They did have that little Tin Man, the original Woody character from when they did the short.
Oh.
The original. He's the one who opens up the little slot machine. And he like looks at Woody like, meh, I don't like you. But it was...
The snow globe, snowman snowing too. He's in background.
So, what's your favorite Pixar movie, Adam?
What? Why? I think
So maybe talk a little bit about, just so we can wrap this up.
Oh, gotcha.
Talk about
Man,
a little bit about Pixar's legacy, or what you like the
wasn't ready
most
for
about
this.
Pixar.
I can go.
Yeah, you got a favorite? Or
Yeah,
a
yeah.
few?
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be
Cars
one.
Cars 2. It's the Empire Strikes Back with the Cars films. I guess in terms of art, Wall-E.
Yeah.
But I think Incredibles is probably the most rewatchable for me.
Sure. Fantastic.
But
Four,
also
the movie.
Cars 2 is really good. Because
because of the spy thriller aspect.
the alternative fuel green car is the bad guy.
I honestly forget about Coco. I forget that movie was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I
it's
did love
wonderful.
I
Coco.
always
Hey,
forget about it.
well, the thing is, Disney Animation Studio and Pixar are starting to look so much the same. Where I'm like,
Zootopia.
yeah, like if you told someone that Pixar made Moana, you'd probably believe them
Yeah.
because they're
Looks
just
the same.
looks the same. It was good. It's a good movie. Frozen's good.
Someone's got to keep drawing, okay? Because I can't keep track of all these computer stuff.
But yeah, that was Pixar.
Do you have a fave?
Cars 2?
I say if I had to round up top 5 in no particular order, it's
Five.
Wall-E,
Cars 3.
Ratatouille, Wall-E, Ratatouille, Up,
Monsters Inc.
Coco, and probably this.
Monsters University?
I never saw that.
Monsters University
I
is
fucking
great
love
too.
Monsters,
It's
Actually, pretty
Inc., though.
good.
Monsters University is real good, except for the fact that they never address that
Yeah.
all of those people are getting a degree that will be useless in only a matter of years. Once laughter becomes a more efficient form of energy consumption.
It's very strange.
I saw there's some article recently comparing Pixar with Studio Ghibli and saying which one maybe made the most amazing films in total.
It's tough.
Wow, let's put all this good stuff against each other. There's
Yeah.
only one way.
Yeah, there's only one winner.
There's only one path. to
What
victory.
conclusion did they come to, if any?
It was just a big picture of Nausicaa with a thumbs up at the bottom saying Ghibli has made less bad films, I think.
Yeah, okay, maybe their average is better. Dan, what's your favorite?
I don't know. So
Pixar?
Incredibles, Monsters, Inc., and Coco, I think, are next level films.
No one said Finding Nemo. Interesting. Don't
yeah.
like fish.
I'm not
Or
crazy
Finding
about
Dory.
Nemo.
I also worked at a movie theater when Finding Nemo came out, so I kind of hated it because
The seagull
of the
said
people.
mine.
I was
mine.
like, I was
Mine.
like, that's fine, but in terms of things that I love about Pixar, which are like the visual of it and the story, Finding Nemo's not up there for me.
I don't like how many actors Toy Story has killed.
That's fair. Jim Varney,
Jim Varney, Don Rickles.
Don Rickles,
Why, Don
the
Rickles?
voice,
Why?
the voice of
What about
original
Ernie?
Andy, killed on set when a light fell on him, and they didn't even need lights because he
I-
was just VO.
I didn't appreciate the deep fakes of Mr. Potato Head. That was that was weird.
Just pulling random lines out.
Yeah. Arnie's like, wow, that's a thing. We should like, we should go to the RV. And they're like, seamless. It's so good.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's right, Woody.
Yeah, why couldn't they just get Woody? They combined two woods and a wood and an E. They're pulling lines from other movies.
I'm with James though. Incredibles is
Yeah.
probably
Subject matter.
but it's also tainted by Incredibles too.
I don't see. I don't hate Incredibles.
Nah.
I
It-
just
it
was like,
sucked.
It's basic.
no,
That's big.
I disagree that it
No.
sucks. I just was like, wait, why did we wait so long for what is basically just a sequel that probably could have come out a year later?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
why. That's what my problem with Incredibles 2. Also, give all those people seizures. It was fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was just thinking,
that
like,
was dark. that part of that
Incredibles,
movie.
Incredibles, and Unbreakable were two superhero movies that came out around the same time that were way ahead
Yeah.
of the superhero genre. Like, those are two movies that should have come out now, where we're sick of superhero movies, and you need something that needs to be a critique on superheroes or a different angle. But then Incredibles 2 comes out and goes, it's a movie about superheroes. You're like, no, but be something unique. You're like, Mr. Incredible's tired because Jack's got powers. Remember? Jack. And I'm like, oh, god damn it.
Yeah, it was kinda
terrible.
bored.
Anyway, but yeah, Incredibles is like infinitely rewatchable.
Maybe if you had gone to see whatever, what was the movie about the
Jack's Day Off or whatever.
Tomorrowland?
Oh,
Tomorrowland.
I did see Tomorrowland.
Okay, well, if you had gone to see
What other Brad
was
Bird
it?
movies? Rogue Nation.
what was it? It was
Iron
what was it
Giant?
called? John Carter from Mars.
I did
yeah.
see it.
I
And
liked that movie.
I did like that movie a lot. It was directed by the director of
Stanton.
Finding Nemo.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just
Who
saying
also
they're trying to
wrote on
stop.
this.
They don't want to make sequels, okay? But when all their live action movies bomb, they have to go back and then make sequels. All right, that's the
Cars
rule.
5.
Gotta come crawling.
It's like when one of us ultimately leaves
Yeah.
Funhaus to break off and do something, and it fails, and then we have to come back here and make
like some more
demo
Grand
disc
Theft
part
Auto.
yeah.
2.
Hey guys, remember me? And they're like, welcome back, loser.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Oh well.
Anyway, I think this is Pixar at its best. They are masters of storytelling and I think emotion. They manipulate the shit out of you, and they do it really, really fucking well.
I'll see you at
if you ask
Pixar
me.
Pier. That's where I'm going.
Are you going this weekend?
Yeah, I want to go. There's
To
that
the
Mr. Potato
Stranger-
Head there goes.
oh.
He's like, welcome to the ride.
Well, there's the Stranger Things Pier thing is happening this weekend in Santa Monica.
Oh.
What? Who cares?
Oof.
I'm over Stranger
Well, that's
Things.
next week, right? Stranger
I don't.
Things
I
comes
have,
out on July 4th,
I
I
have
think.
no
Oh.
recollection what happened in Stranger Things season 2.
are we not going?
Except for that one episode all about 11 that was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's the only thing I remember from the whole
rough.
season. They were like, you know who's cool? 11.
So when Adam and I go to the Pier experience this weekend, we're gonna need a recap to fully enjoy it.
I'm going to CatCon. See you there.
Ooh.
No, I can't.
I didn't ask you to come. No, go to.
I'm sorry, I'm busy. I can't.
I was looking for some summer wear, and I went into the H&M, and they have Stranger Things branded clothing.
nice.
And I was like, oh, that's not so bad. They had a tank top. It's like, Hawkins swimming pool, cool. But then it has a giant Stranger Things logo on the bottom. Like, that's what I want to wear out and about.
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
It's like when you
Put
get
your
a
logo on it.
Halloween costume that says Ghostbusters on it, and you're like, okay.
I just had a shirt that said Wolverine.
Yeah.
That way they know.
They used to look.
Oh, there he is.
I'm in Wolverine costume.
I didn't even see that shirt. So
Is there a
fucking
Marvel
faded.
logo somewhere?
No, because
see, they did it
I'm
right.
not dressed as
10-year-old
Marvel.
shirt.
I'm dressed as
That's like
Wolverine.
a 10-year-old shirt.
I know. Yeah, I was gonna say that's a vintage shirt, but it literally is a vintage shirt.
You're gonna get
now.
a Forky shirt?
No,
You don't love 'em
I
that
do like
much?
the Forky Halloween costumes. That
right.
yeah, look it up. It's pretty
Go fork yourself.
derpy looking.
Shirt.
That's gonna be frightening.
Forky
You're
Halloween
trash.
costume.
It's all
Trash.
real aggressive.
I really liked when someone would
There it
hold.
is.
Oh, pull that on the other screen. There's our wall. That's our thumbnail.
Oh wow!
I really love when someone would hold Forky's hand and it would slowly, the pipe
Yeah.
cleaner would pull over.
great.
This is a fucking
A lot of
nightmare.
great physical comedy.
I'm excited for the cosplay porn. They're gonna make of Forky and Miss Forky. Wait, what the fuck is rainbow shoes?
Yeah,
That must be
those
just
are those.
extra.
Those are
Oh.
the sticks. Remember, he has a broken tongue depressor in half, and it has a rainbow sticker on one.
Gotcha.
I always liked how he'd walk, but then Woody had a bigger pace.
Yeah.
And
So
so
he's
he'd
carrying
walk,
like-
and then he'd go faster, and you'd have to catch up, and then he'd walk again.
I think it's
Yeah,
always weird
it's
when it's
adorable.
like the toys run out of breath. They're like, do they have organs?
Well, yeah, his organ was his speech box.
I was
and
gonna
that
say, they
girl
ripped that
fucking
right out
ripped-
of him.
Yeah.
Actually, he gave it up. He
did,
gave it up.
folks.
He sacrificed that for his friends.
No, he didn't give anything up. When someone says, "I'll kill him,"
Well,
unless you give me your wallet, that's not you giving up your wallet out of the generosity of your heart.
No,
did it
I
for
would
Forky.
say you are sacrificing.
I think he gave it up.
yourself for your.
he knows he didn't need it anymore.
Those
He was trying
cute-
to help another toy
He didn't know.
Anyway.
who needed love.
Oh, I
Trace.
don't know. I don't know if it was that
No.
altruistic. As much as
It
he was trying
wasn't.
to protect the people
no.
he cared about.
It was her, Forky being held, a line of Bensons, and then him trapped against a wall, and her going like, "Give it up.
Yeah.
We'll sew you up afterwards, real shittily."
Well, she manipulated him.
Show of
She
hands if you would have let Forky
also,
die.
didn't know that was Christina
Yeah.
Hendricks the whole
Oh,
movie.
I wanted Forky to die
Damn
immediately.
good.
He was an instigator.
Oh, no, it was all Woody. It was all Woody's fault. Just let that trash
Yeah.
die.
It's Woody.
He would have moved on.
Yeah.
Would have been good. Anyway, sorry, we're talking about the movie too much.
Yeah, yeah. Good first
Enjoyed
movie,
it.
Josh Cooley. Make some more.
I mean, he obviously worked on other Pixar
Yeah, I mean,
movies.
come on.
He has some shorts or something.
It's like what
but-
James was saying about the Dark
feature.
Phoenix guy. Like, he was there.
He was there the whole time.
He saw how the X-Men
Simon
magic
Sinclair,
was
is that
made.
his name?
Simon Kinberg.
Kinberg.
Two diametrically opposed first films from those
Sure.
guys.
Yeah,
Sure.
I agree to disagree.
for sure.
Yeah.
You coming back around on Dark Phoenix?
Oh no, I thought you were saying that this was the bad one.
No, God, no. Anyway, yeah, Pixar. This is them at the top of their game. Go see this movie. I don't think you could not enjoy
And
this.
we just spoiled the whole thing, so why would you?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Wait,
hopefully
no,
you already
no.
have seen it.
That works against us in fair use.
I think going to see it and going through those emotions with Woody is definitely worth it.
But yeah, even if you watched us now and listened to us talk about it, you're not getting the experience of seeing it.
No.
Get a Woody with Woody today.
Yeah, I make a few kickback dollars if you
Yeah.
go see this movie.
And if you
So-
come on your toys and leave the room, they can't move.
All right, there we go.
What
see
do you
next
think?
week.
What do you think, Slinky? Hey, Vern, Beverly Hillbillies.
Come on down to Tunson Toyota today.
Man,
You won't get a lemon.
Could we do a whole Ernest cast?
Yes, we should.
I've only seen
we
Ernest
should.
Scared
it depends.
stupid.
Do you like views?
Oh, I
Because
do.
you're gonna get more
We
than
do need
you've
summer
ever had.
ideas, so we need that.
Yeah, I guess you guys tell us what your favorite Pixar movie is, and maybe what else we
Yeah.
should talk about later this summer when
Favorite
there's
Ernest
no more
movie?
movies.
We'll talk about
Comments
Stranger Things
below.
season 1.
There's
three.
like 20 Ernest movies we could talk about. His whole career in commercials.
Why?
I don't know.
Let the man die.
Then 11 puts her pants on backwards because she's cool.
Let's go, Vern.
Bye, everybody.
I mean, let's be fair. When you see Lawrence Fishburne make that jump, he's not in the best shape. You're now understanding
Whoa.
what you go.
Yeah.
Whoa! I don't know. I mean, what do you say? Like, good golly, you know? It's like you say, whoa. It's just also his delivery is perfect, and everyone laughed at it. And it was fun. Just give him a break. Jesus, guys. Anyway.
I don't know.